I'm Bob Lane from DC Entertainment, and we have a bunch of folks joining me on stage. We're going to run through some slides with you, talk about some stuff, and then we have a microphone in the middle of the room, but if no one wants to ask any questions, that's okay too. All right. So we're going to be giving away comics. Everyone should get a comic. You're either going to get a first printing of Batman 701 or a New York Comic Con variant of Justice League 12. We get one of those two comics as our special gift to you for being stuck in the other room.
Oh, thank you.
Queued up, ready to come in, and we hope you enjoy our fine panel and all stars here. Okay. All right, let's see what we got next up. So we just want to remind you, last year DC Entertainment and the Justice League joined the fight against hunger in the Horn of Africa. Some 8 million people need basics like food, clean water, medicine, and together we all have raised over $2 million. We thank you so much for your contribution. But it's still not enough. And so this year, DC Entertainment, We Can Be Heroes campaign is doing something different, kind of cool. We're giving exclusive access to Batman-themed merchandise and once-in-a-lifetime experiences to fans enjoying the cause. Our top creators have designed cool variant covers, limited edition lithos, and behind-the-cowl experiences. They're now up for bid on Indiegogo. The URL's in the slide. You can find it on the DC Comics website. We're adding new stuff weekly. This round lasts only until May 10th, so please check it out and wait to see what comes up next. Again, we thank you for your support, and we'll now go on and talk about some new 52 stuff. You guys ready for that? So first up, I think we're going to ask Pete Tomasi. Pete, you were writing Batman and Robin.
Yes.
And you came up with an idea of having a different person appear with Batman every issue now to take the place because of the tragic events that happened to Damian. So that's...
I heard he died.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. So tell us what you're doing and how you've managed to, instead of having the book end, how you've managed to keep it going with this unique thing.
Well, the cover you see in front of you is for issue 22, and it's the third part of the 5 stages of grief arc, and it's the depression issue, and I can't think of a better way to pull Batman out of depression than a visit from Catwoman. So it's, Damian, he's still reeling from Damian's death, and, the key of this book, too, has been to make sure that after Damian died, that, it wasn't handled in one issue, just to have, the ripple effect continue for several months to really get a sense of that, the deep grief that he's going through and how he eventually builds the acceptance. And in 22, which is Catwoman, the next issue after that will be Nightwing, which is the acceptance issue. So the 22 issue, there's a lot of cool beats there where you just see some really wonderful Carrie moments where she's trying to, Carrie Kelly's still trying to, we'll get more in depth as to how Carrie has, entered Damian's life earlier before his death, and we'll start to see how she starts to build into Bruce and Alfred's life as the story continues. Because we've got a lot of big surprises with Carrie coming your way. So, the big question, of course, is will she be a Robin? Of course, I can't answer that under pain of death. So it's a cool issue, which will really continue to, peel away the layers on Batman, and really just as we did in issue 19. I don't know if you saw the one with Frankenstein. That was an issue where, it was probably tough for a lot of readers to see Batman go to that extreme, but I thought it was really necessary, at that point to really do something where, it's unexpected with the character at that point, because, we've seen Batman go through some grief, obviously, in his life, so I thought it was really interesting to push him to an edge that we hadn't seen him before, and, just show some sides that, kind of makes you feel like, holy crap, I haven't seen that, from Batman. So we're trying to do that throughout the stages of grief issue, and issue 20 with Red Hood has got a pretty cool surprise right there in the middle. So keep your eyes peeled, and I hope you enjoy the 5 stages of grief as we, build out, that and continue on to the Dark Knight, moving on without a Robin, and a lot of big surprises come their way. So, and can't always forget the Zapak Leeson, of course, is just kicking serious ass on that stuff. So, pretty cool calendar.
So Pete, you always wanted to say, I hope you enjoy the 5 stages of grief.
Yeah, it's one of the things I've been waiting for many years to say.
And you're, at the same time, you're wrapping up your time working on the Green Lantern Corps.
Right, yeah. Issue 20, my swan song. I guess from when I was a DC editorial till that final issue, it's, I think, 12 years of being associated with Green Lantern. So from the Ben Rob issue, honestly, it's been one of my pleasures, and it's Guy and John have been great to write, and even the Kyle stuff previous to that. So this issue really is an end of an era, and all the 20s are sort of a tip off to all you guys too for being fans. We really kind of say goodbye in a good way, and a real character-driven way, which is what we wanted this last arc to be, to focus on these guys and really show what makes them tick and really get to the heart of them. And wear our heart on our sleeves too. I always kind of do that with the characters I write, but it was tough though. The Guy is one of those characters that you really kind of, stay, I talk a lot, I feel like I'm Guy Gardner, so it's like, he's my favorite GL, so it was tough to write the final issue and then say goodbye. And it's going to be interesting to read the few things that I've heard about the new GL stuff is great, so it's going to be one of those like, oh man, I don't want to crack the books. You get so close to it, it's tough to read, but the stuff I hear that's coming up is great. So I hope you guys enjoyed the time we gave you on the GL stuff, and we look forward to obviously continuing onwards with it. So keep on ring slinging.
The new GL stuff is fantastic. As somebody who's doing part of it, the whole line is really, really good. And I think it's gonna be fun. Sorry, I just wanted to add. It's gonna be good.
And that's still a lot of the big fist.
All right, what do we got next, Fletcher? We have Superman Unchained. That's from the first issue. That's coming up in June, right before the Man of Steel movie opens in theaters around the world. An amazing coincidence that. And this is by Scott Snyder and Jim Lee. 2 newcomers we think you'll be hearing a lot about it. Mr. Bob Harris, do you have anything you can tell us about this that won't spoil any stories?
I can say that Scott and Jim both bring their A games to this series. First issue is utterly amazing. It's some of Jim's best work. Scott has an incredible story planned out, and I think there's going to be a lot of surprises. And in the first issue, there is don't quite know how to explain this, but kind of a 4-way opened up huge page that you will see Jim's Superman in a grand scale. That is really, really amazing. It's going to be a lot of fun when you guys see it. And that is just part of the energy these 2 guys are bringing in this series. So it's one of these books we're really very excited about. And I think you're really going to like it a lot.
Thanks, Bob. All right, we also want to tell you guys about the Trinity War that begins in August in Justice League of America, and Justice League Dark, and also has ramifications, I believe, in Constantine, and 2 other books, Mr. Harris?
Trinity of Sin, Phantom Stranger, and Trinity of Sin, Pandora. You can see in that image there, that central figure there is the character Pandora, who has been kind of lurking on the fringes of the New 52 since it started. And here, a lot of elements come together, a lot of things that will have ripple effects across the DCU. And when you see all these characters together, you know it's going to be great. You know that Jeff has been playing this, I know that Jeff has been playing this since the beginning of the New 52, so this culmination of these 3 teams and the ripple effects that will come out from the storyline beyond this is again, pretty amazing, and I think you have a great time reading and seeing what we got coming up in that series.
All right. Thanks again. And coming up in Nightwing.
Well, you guys may or may not know, Nightwing has officially moved to Chicago.
By the way, is titled Yes.
Oh.
But that's okay, because he's got the best line for this room ever. The Nightwing's moved to Chicago.
I mean, do you guys like Nightwing moved to Chicago? Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Bob said we're going to change what city he's moving to depending on every convention.
Yeah, so in July you'll be hearing Nightwing's moving to San Diego.
I mean, he'll move there and hate it because it's swarmed with convention people and there's no tall buildings to swing from, but other than that, it's warm, so. But no, so starting with issue 19, which is Brett Booth, Norm Ratman, and Andrew Dahlhaus's first issue on the book. It came out a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and Nightwing is headed here as a result of kind of fallout from Death of the Family, but more specifically the revelation that Tony Zucco, the man who killed his parents, is still alive and living under an alias in Chicago. So this was an interesting decision for us. I didn't want to move him to a different city just as emotional fallout from Death of the Family, because I feel like A, we've seen that before, but B, it just didn't. It kind of felt like he was running away. It would just be his tail between his legs, And so I thought about it a lot. And I talked to Jeff Johns about it at one point, and he said, come up with something that's a specific objective that's super personal for him. I said, well, I've got this idea that Tony Zucco would still be alive. He said, that's your thing. He's like, that's your story. And it's been fantastic. I mean, for Dick, this represents something that it's an event in his life right now that he can actually control. Having gone through all these terrible tragedies, even from back with Court of Owls, and realizing that his life was not what he thought it was, the reveal that he was meant to be Talon. That through Death of the Family, through the circus dying, some of them dying, others leaving him, his mile burning down, Damien dying, the reveal that Zuko's still alive, it's almost kind of a strange cathartic thing because it's something that he can actively pursue and deal with. So you see that in issue 19, just even in the tone shift that Brett's bringing to the booth, or Brett's bringing to the book. He's, Nightwing's riding on top of the L train, smiling, he's flying again, he's kinetic. So it's been a lot of fun. It's really been reinvigorating for me, getting the character back to, he's brighter, he's happy, he's outgoing. And, going forward, we've got a big mythology plan for Chicago and this idea of what happened to the masks in the city that were here a few years ago, and now they're all dead. Right up front, we've got a new villain. It's a reinvention of the prankster, who's the old Superman villain. And he has this very kind of twisted sense of morality, putting people in these death traps where they have to make very interesting decisions in order to even have a chance of escaping. And when you see what his motivation is and his backstory, I think it's gonna really click why he works so well in this arc, paralleling Dick's pursuit of Tony Zucco. So I'm having a blast, and I just want to thank you guys. I said this yesterday, but I want to thank you guys again for supporting the book. So it's an honor and a privilege to write.
Next up in the New 52, we want to talk a bit about Vibe. Vibe, what is Batman doing with Vibe?
He's not very happy with Vibe.
Oh, okay, let's start engaged. Tell us what's going on.
I'm writing a book, a Justice League spin-off book called Vibe. It's a new young hero in the New 52 universe. It's very much a fish out of water story. It's this kid who has extremely, massively powerful abilities. Gets recruited by a group called Argus, which if you're reading the Justice League books, Argus are very much, thanks, Argus are the people behind Justice League of America, and Amanda Waller is in charge of Argus, and she arranges to have Vibe brought into the Justice League of America. So it's this 18-year-old kid who doesn't know his powers very well, and he's learning on the job both how to be a hero and how to best use his abilities. We do a lot of interdimensional stuff because his powers deal with the fabric of reality and warping it and changing things. And you're going to see a lot of that stuff in the circus, which is this prison Argus is designed to hold a lot of familiar DC faces. And Batman is in issue 4, but it is definitely not the Batman any of you are expecting it to be. And so you're going to see what happens when a very young hero who doesn't really know his own powers goes up against, well, Batman.
Is it actually Catwoman?
It's actually,
Yeah.
Are you ready? But no, he's a very young hero. I'm trying to inject a lot of heart in the book, and I think it's a really good story about this young kid who's dropped into the middle of just the worst situation you can imagine, and told you're super important. Go. So it's a lot of fun. I hope you guys give it a shot. It's fun to write someone new coming into the New 52 universe and look around going, what the hell is all this?
So, Bob Harris, Bobby Chase, what's going on in Batwing? We have a new Batwing taking over at the rumor?
That is more than a rumor. There is a new Batwing on the prowl, and it is someone that has a little more kind of organic connections to Bruce Wayne. It is Lucius Fox's son. Luke Fox has been recruited to become the new Batwing, and as you can see, totally different look, totally different dynamic. I believe you see there that Batwing is there with his father, and they're both in a lot of trouble. What's going to happen going forward with Luke Fox being recruited by Batman to be part of his Batman Inc. family, and how Lucius reacts to that? It's going to be very interesting. It's part of an ongoing plan of really bringing the Bat families, as we've been doing since the New 52, having ripple effects go across the Bat line, and this new Batwing is definitely part of that plan. And I think Jimmy was going to be here, but unfortunately he couldn't make his panel, but he's got a lot of great plans coming up for the next few months. So I really urge everyone to take a look at the new character and the new direction of the book, and see where we're going.
All right, thanks, Bob. So, Jimmy and Justin are also doing All-Star Western. This is from 22, and I think the fact that you see the Arkham Asylum signage behind Jonah Hex should give you an idea that there is some level of Batman mythology playing out in the Old West here. Yes, but it seems like a relatively modern car.
Yes, I was going to say, you don't usually see a car in the Old West. What has happened here is that Jonah Hex has come to the 21st century, and he is in Gotham City in the 21st century. So some of the elements and some of the echoes that we've seen in the series since the beginning, having been dealing with the Arkham family, you're going to see Jonah reacting, number one, to being in the 21st century, but also meeting people related to people he's met in the past. And his journey to either get back to the past or stay here in the 21st century. Again, it's a lot of fun. They've got a lot of great scenes of Jonah reacting to things like a car for the first time. And what does a gunslinger do in the 21st century? What is someone who his entire sensibility is from the 19th century doing in a modern day Gotham? And that's, I think, going to be very interesting to see in the next few months.
Thank you there, Bob. All right, next up we have Swamp Thing number 22. New writer Charles Soule is going to tell us. Charles, this is John Constantine there in the background?
It sure is John Constantine. When I first was approached to maybe, if I got lucky, write Swamp Thing, one of the things that was immediately appealing to me about that gig was the idea that I would maybe get to put little John Constantine, because those two characters have a really, really long history. and they've had a lot of exciting, I don't know if you can call them adventures, but they've had a lot of exciting encounters in the past. And so the idea of putting Constantine in the Swamp Thing was something I was really looking forward to, and I guess I just decided not to wait too long to do it. So here we are with Swamp Thing 22, which is the first of a two-parter. What I'm trying to do in my Swamp Thing run, at least at the beginning, is sort of really tight stories. So 1 issue, 2 issue, 3 issues, so that you can kind of, basically, if you hate 1 issue, maybe you'll like the next one because it might be something totally different. In this particular story, it's set in Scotland. One of the things that is nice about writing Swamp Thing now, and sort of a favor that Scott Snyder did me, is that he gave Swamp Thing back the ability to travel through the green to any place in the world, which means I can set my stories any place. So I could I have an upcoming story that's going to be in India. You know, there's stories all over the place. This one's in Scotland, which again was partly because I wanted to put Constantine in it, and I think Constantine works best in England. In this particular story, you have a small, depressed village in the Scottish Highlands called Fetters Hill that sort of mysteriously has a tree grow up in its village green that dispenses fantastically delicious whiskey. And Constantine shows up, which is probably no surprise, with a whiskey tree in the middle of the town. And then they tangle when it turns out that the whiskey tree is not all it seems. And as far as the way, you know, my favorite Constantine stories are where he's a real, I mean, he's basically a bastard, and he's just a real son of a bitch. And I tried to do that as much as I could in this two-parter. I guess, I mean, between the whiskey tree and Constantine being a bastard, I guess I'm trying to take it as sort of an all-ages thing. That's the way to go. But by and large, I'm having a really, really good time with the book. I hope you guys are enjoying the first issue that's already come out. The second issue hits this Wednesday, number 20, and it's really fun. Thanks.
And Charles, you mentioned earlier that you're working on one of the Green Lantern titles coming up. Are you going to tip your hand as to which one you're working on?
I'm working on Red Lanterns, and I see the gentleman there in a Red Lantern shirt, which I think you won that for me, did you? Yeah, you could have nodded, you could have said yes. So yes, I'm working on Red Lanterns, starting with issue 21, which is a blast. You know, Guy Gardner is also probably one of my favorites of the core. He's going to be taking a more central role in Red Lanterns going forward, which has just been, you know, I've turned in the first couple of scripts. It's just a really, really good time. So it's going to be a slight change of pace maybe from what we've seen in Red Lantern so far, but it's not. It's still going to be rage-filled and napalm blood and all the things you love about those crazy Reds. So just with more Guy Gardner.
All right, thanks a lot. Next up, this is the gigantuous cover from Green Lantern number 20, and Mr. Harris, this is 88 pages. Is that correct?
800 of these.
It grows every time I have a conversation with editorial. I try to stay off.
I think we kept it at 88.
88 pages still.
And that's the original size of the comic.
And would it be the culmination of all the Green Lantern stuff that Jeff Johns has been telling for these many years?
These many years, yes. This is you know, Jeff's final issue of Green Lantern. This is which has been, by any definition, and I think really just an amazing, incredible run, where he really has, you know, reinvented Green Lantern, you know, created a whole anthology for this character, really made him one of the mainstays of the DC universe. And this issue is, everything comes together. Everything that Jeff has worked on all these years comes together in this final issue. Pete mentioned for his book, there's a lot of emotional beats here. It's a big issue. It's, in many ways, it's a big issue. You know, both physically and emotionally. And again, it's, you know, I hate using the term can't miss, but it really is. It's just, if you love Jeff's run, you know, this book is something you have to get. It's just really phenomenal.
And the art, I've seen the art from Doug Mackey, and it's just phenomenal, unbelievable.
Right. It's, go out and get it.
We go out with blazes of art, for sure.
All right, thank you. Although, as we mentioned, the Green Lantern books continue, Green Lantern and Guardians. Aaron, you're going to be doing this one, the artwork?
No.
No. All right, well that is, and I believe he's
because I'm not on the book anymore. I'm doing the covers, doing some Superman stuff.
Tony Bedard would say it's amazing, and you should definitely read it.
And you should leave Tony. Yeah, no, this is the last cover of the series that I do, and you can see it.
I can, yeah.
But it's the 20 issue. Ironically, when this comes out, Superman 20 will also be coming out, which I do the insides of that one. And that's Superman and Orion not getting along, which is insanely fun to draw.
Serendipity.
Yeah, that's
Next gentleman.
This is just to let you guys know that at the end of May, when you go into your favorite comic shop, you'll be able to pick up a guide, an essential guide to DC's graphic novels with a chronology, a suggested reading order for our graphic novels, so that next year when you come back to these panels, you'll have something to argue with us about. The choices we made about the reading order will be. And it will be absolutely free if you go into your comic shop. These will be available for free. You can also use the checklist. Make sure you haven't overlooked any of our fine backlist book titles. And of course, there's suggestions of starting points and the top 25 books in our backlist. You can use it as a guide for all of your gift giving for the rest of the year. So that'll be the last week of May. This week, however, at the Graffiti Designs booth 818, you can get the Aardman-style Batman and Robin based on the Aardman shorts that appear in the DC Nation block on Cartoon Network. If you haven't seen those, they're really cute, really kind of funny. And the Aardman folks are the people that did Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run and various other fine animated properties. And then we have a Green Lantern pack, which, say no more, looks to me like it might be Guy Gardner over there. So hopefully, Pete, you have one of those already.
No.
Okay.
We'll fix that.
Yeah, we'll fix that. We'll give you a discount. So those are available at the Graffiti Designs booth 818. And that wraps up this part of our presentation. If any of you have any questions, if you want to calmly and leisurely stroll up to the microphone and ask your upbeat, positive questions. I have one for the first questioner. Is that machine washable, or do you dry clean it? Which one?
Well, the tag says dry clean only, which means it's never been cleaned.
Thank you for coming, everyone.
And how many conventions have you worn this to without cleaning it?
6, maybe.
All right.
Every convention, it smells more and more like an actual starfish.
So do you have a question for us?
Yeah, so I know you're coming up on Villains Month, and there's going to be a crime syndicate book, and in the new 52 stuff, you already have Walt Boom and you have a Thomas Wayne. Are you going to try to create a crime syndicate on the main Earth, or is it going to be a multiversity thing?
Bob, what is this Villains Month of which you speak? So I don't remember seeing any of that anywhere announced, anything like that. Is that something we know about yet?
There may be something.
There could be something? Okay.
Coming.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Wonder Woman 25.
Thank you.
Well, first off, I want to thank you for that's all right. First off, I'd like to thank you for the new Shazam. I think it was a brilliant move putting him in Justice League and getting Jeff and now that it's coming into the last 2 issues, can you give us something more concrete about what's going to happen with Shazam coming up?
More concrete? No, I think again, what Jeff has got planned, you will be seeing the next few months. Shazam was in the back of Justice League for a reason. There's events coming up in the next few months that will, I think, make everyone who loves Shazam very happy.
Okay, maybe someone very happy over there. So, you know, I'm glad you like what's been done so far, but really you haven't seen half of what's come with the character. All right?
All right.
Okay.
But the stories we published so far by Jeff and Gary are going to be collected in book form as well, so that's coming up too.
And I'm over here, but I'm over there.
Excellent. Yeah. You should all follow this man's example.
Hello. I have two Batwoman-related questions. One, are we going to get a definitive answer on where Renee Montoya stands in the New 52? And are there any plans to bring Batwoman more into the fold with the rest of the Bat books? She's kind of...
The answer is yes and yes.
I got two quick questions. One story I really liked from Flashpoint was The Outsider. I thought it was kind of an interesting concept. And we see Element Woman part of the Trinity War. Any plans of bringing The Outsider into the New 52? And the second one is for Charles. First off, I enjoyed your first issue of Swamp Thing. I thought
Thank you very much.
I'm really excited to see more Constantine and Swamp Thing. I feel like it's missing because I really feel like you can't really have Swamp Thing. I mean, you can have Soul Swamp Thing stories, but with Constantine, it kind of adds a different element. Any plans on kind of having a crossover with either the Constantine book with Ray Fox and Jeff Lemire? I know there's something going on in Justice League Dark, but any future plans between those two characters?
Well, I mean, I'm having so much fun writing Constantine in Swamp Thing now. I can't imagine not wanting to use him again in the future. I'm pretty tight with both Jeff and Ray, and we actually, are we allowed to talk regularly? We do talk really regularly. So I can easily see us putting something up in the future. No specific plans, but you know, why not? Right?
But for such good questions, we have a tip for you. When you dress this morning, you put your clothes on in the wrong order.
Yes. The biggest part is the butt shape of the grease on the outside.
Next question.
Shazam, baby. What's up, guys? First question is for Kyle. With Nightwing going to come in Chicago, will we ever see him still interact with the rest of the Bat family at some point?
Yeah, I mean, right now he's here for a very specific purpose and he's got a very focused goal. But, well, first off, Pete's issue 23 of Batman and Nightwing will deal with, an interaction there. And yeah, going forward, I mean, it's not like he's not talking to anyone. It's just, we wanted to push him in a direction where we could build his own world. We could create a niche for him and a city for him that felt real and grounded, and we can grow new villains and new threats there, because for the character, that's the only way he's going to evolve and grow. And it's a lot of fun seeing him interact with the Bat family. I love writing those scenes, but at the same time, if you overdo it, then you're defining the character by his relationship to Batman, and that's not good for the long term of the character. But I definitely have plans for other Bat family members to come into play going forward. So.
Nice. Okay, my second question is a Superman question. I don't know who on the panel will be handling this, but will we see, just like with the Bat family, there's been so many opportunities to evolve the characters that are under the Batman umbrella. Will we get a chance to see some of the more obscure Superman characters like Steel, like the Eradicator, show up at all in the New 52 in a more prominent way?
In a more, what was that?
A more prominent way?
Yes, I think you'll be seeing a lot of things you'll like in the next few months in Superman, because those characters will be popping up soon.
Yes.
Not maybe everybody, but a lot of those guys.
Nice.
Okay.
All right.
This is on the Red Lanterns, with Guy Gardner showing up. Is the upper human Red Lantern, is he going to go away, or?
Rancor, you mean?
Yeah.
He's not going to go away. I think Rancor is a very cool character. He came into the Reds in a neat way, and I think he presents sort of a different approach to a human Red Lantern than Guy will, so I want him both in there for sure.
Buddy, I'm up.
Hi, I'm a big DC fan. My favorite run was when O'Neill was writing the Green Lantern Green Arrow stories. And I wonder what the writers thought about using comics as a kind of a platform to raise social awareness and social issues.
It's a good idea.
I don't, as probably the only non-writer up here, I think you don't look for one place for a story. You take a story from everywhere that you can. And so, social issues absolutely are part of it.
I think, even if you look at the history of DC, and when I was editing Robin, we did something with suicide. I mean, even with the Batman 5 Stages of Grief, there's this aspect of that there too. I mean, DC has dealt with guns in the past. So, I think it's, finding those right ways to tell it instead of just coming at it from a reactionary point of view. Try to really build it into something, more special. But I think, everybody thinks about it, so we want to look forward to finding ways to put it in that, feels like a right spot.
But for your question, if you'd like, you can have one of these in Requiem Damian Wayne memorial posters. There you go. Thank you.
First of all, I wanted to say that I'm a big Green Lantern fan because I've been following the stories ever since Blackest Night because I really like Jeff Johns' run on the title, and it's kind of sad to see him leave this title. But I had a couple of questions. The first is that I know that Jeff subtly hints at this though, but are they ever going to reveal the Orange Lantern at some point, or even maybe in Threshold?
It's a Wonder Woman 25 answer. I don't quite know exactly the answer to that, but you're going to see some things with Larfleeze in his own book, and so...
Read Green Lantern 20.
Okay, Green Lantern 20, okay.
Okay, and my second question is that will Jackson Hyde, Aqualad make some kind of an appearance in the New 52?
I would say that's a possibility. We don't have a plan right now, but it's definitely something we have discussed. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm a huge Booster Gold fan, and I'm just wondering, me and many others, but I'm just wondering when he's coming back. I'm kind of heartbroken.
We don't want you to go.
Yeah, please.
So your heart may be mended sometime soon. Okay?
Okay, second question, I wish Jimmy was here because big Freedom Fighters a fan. Kind of seeing a little lull in the little mini-series that we're getting the Freedom Fighters together. Can we expect any more?
For Freedom Fighters, not in the immediate future, gotta be honest. That would be a little ways down the line.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. Since like the beginning of the 52, my favorite books have been like the Dark lineup. They're all like really, really good. But I've noticed like recently you guys have been making more of a move in a light direction with some books, like Green Team, Vibe, Nightwing, for example, is getting lighted. Are we going to be able to see a lot more like fun, like carefree books in the future?
I think there's going to be a mixture. I mean, that's part of the wide range of the characters that we have in New 52. Some characters lead themselves a little bit more, high-spirited stories. Other characters, definitely like Constantine and even Swamp Thing, they're going to head more towards the darker aspect of storytelling. So we're going to have a variety, and I think that's been what we've been trying to do since we launched New 52, give a little bit of spectrum to all our characters and all our stories.
I've been trying to get Pete to have Batman smile forever. Any progress on that?
Well, actually, the Batman and Robin annual, I think it came out in February, I believe. And that was a very, concerted effort to, make sure that it was more of a lighthearted issue, something. And I did it personally, just to, give a book that I could let my son read that was, a little bit on the uber violent side, but at the same time, it was just showing the characters and in a situation that's a little bit more, some levity between them. And because if you don't show the humor a lot, or you at least touch upon the humor in their lives, And then the darkness just feels sort of overwhelming, and you have to have that juxtaposition, otherwise the darkness doesn't feel dark when it's really, you know, the grief and all the stuff that's happening with Bruce. So it was a good bookend to show that stuff with Bruce and Damien in that situation. And then, of course, you know, the scenes, you know, just what the potential that Damien could be and just how much fun he could also be instead of just being that, you know, that really dark kid. And then, of course, you know, he died. So it was a good way to kind of to show that. So we do it. You know, I think you have to, you know, do it in certain spots, just like, you know, certain issues.
Thanks.
But if you'd like, you can have this Damien poster, and the other side is all brightness.
I have two quick questions. The first is for Batman and Robin. I'm curious if you plan on sticking to the team-ups with only the Bat family, or if you're going to introduce like team-ups with any outside characters.
Right now, the plan is just to go to 23 with Nightwing and the acceptance part, and then from there on we'll be discussing the best way to go about it. We have some story stuff planned out, but I can say that, you know, there will be no sudden Robin on issue 24 where you're like, oh, that's the new Robin. It's not going to be that quick and easy. So it's going to be a real character building and a story building kind of foundation till we get to the new Robin at some point. So it's just kind of stay tuned and, you know, see who we got going. But we got a lot of cool stuff planned for the book.
Cool, I'm definitely excited. My second one is you guys gave absolutely no love to Aquaman. I'm curious if you guys can say anything about anything upcoming in Aquaman.
I think the book speaks for itself. That book is just phenomenal. I mean, the writing and the art. It's serious action on issue after issue. I mean, look at it. People love Aquaman. I mean, that just speaks for itself.
Thank you.
For asking that Aquaman question.
All right, well, I also have two quick questions. One, being a Green Lantern fan and loving the Green Lantern animated series, was sadly canceled. Is there a chance that we may see Razor appear in the Red Lantern title at all? Someone brought that up to me yesterday, just sort of not at the panel. So clearly there's a lot of love for Razor. You know, who knows? Yeah. Cool. And then my second question is there a chance that Nightwing might return to the Justice League as a, you know, once in a while character, or a, you know, I'm going to take Batman's spot for one issue? I don't know. I think that's a Jeff question. All right.
I think Nightwing coming up is going to have a lot of problems, and Justice League membership maybe it'll least of his problems coming up, I'll be honest.
Okay. All right. Awesome. I'm also a D.U. Lee fan.
All right. Last bit, Robopander. All right, sir.
My question's on Wonder Woman 25. No,
it's a big, thick comic, the way your mom used to make it.
No, but I was here last year and somebody asked a question about Cyborg, how he has his own comic. So I was wondering if we're gonna like introduce him in his own thing.
We never promised that we're going to be, you know, continuity from panel to panel.
It was implied.
52, we haven't said, you know. So your question is Cyborg?
Cyborg, yeah. Is he gonna get his own series?
There's only people want Cyborg in his own series.
So I don't have to
Wow.
Now, see, the Aquaman guys really had your beat on this.
I like Damien too.
Hi, I'm always cool to see your hometown get a little love from other media like Nightwing coming to Chicago there. But I'm kind of curious, is Nightwing going to be a Cubs fan or a Sox fan?
Sox or I'll kill you.
I made the comment yesterday during an interview, and Alex Segura tweeted out my response that I've been getting angry messages since. But I said, I'm just going to say what I said in the interview. As long as I'm writing it, he will not be attending a Cubs game. No,
Mostly kidding, but I'll put it this way: I'm a White Sox fan.
This guy's head.
That's what's most important to me right now.
Do for me, I do. So,
where's the guy that tells us we're out of time? Hurry!
Yeah, I got bit of that guy. So. Just me and you, just me and you.
I know where you work.
Yes, you do. So one of the things I really appreciate about DC, if you can't look at me and tell, is that I like diversity. It's a very important subject to me in my daily life. And so I feel like DC does diversity in comics better than nobody else. Ethnic diversity, gender, sexual preference diversity, you guys have it beat across the board. So I really appreciate that. As a Shazam fan, I was so happy, well I got to plug that you guys made the Wizard an African. That was, to me, that's what I always saw. So my only hope is, the Wizard he's like one of the most powerful characters in the DC universe. And so my only hope is that he always shifts between reality. I hope he's still a prominent character as the Shazam mythos continues to move forward. That's, I guess, kind of a question, comment type thing.
I would say that is the plan. All right.
Nice.
Okay.
And I'm a fan of Damien too, but I got one yesterday. So.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. But look, bring back Damien. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Tomasi is helping you work through your stage. He's taking this burden on his shoulder so you don't have to.
I've got a couple comments first. First of all, I want to thank Sterling for the Vibe series. I'm from Detroit. It's always good to see Detroit in a positive light. We've got Vibe, we've got hints of Gypsy, and we've got a strong Aquaman, so I assume Justice League Detroit is going to be the next Justice League. Kind of a question, comment. I'm a fairly new reader. I kind of jumped in full bore on the New 52. Just loved a lot of them. One of the things I really liked was the diversity of titles. We had the war books, we had I, Vampire, we had Frankenstein, and most of the books have been canceled now. I know it's because of sales, but I mean, what do we have? We've seen a lot of Green Lantern, we've seen a lot of Batman. That's all great. Anything new, kind of out of the ordinary? I really enjoy like Battle Age. That's been a good move. I mean, what do we have that's something different other than more of the superhero stuff?
Well, I think, again, we still, Swamp Thing and Animan are still there. Constantine we just launched. So we will still be putting books out there that have different flavors. That's always our intent. We were very proud of those books you mentioned. We wanted them to succeed. Unfortunately, they didn't quite get the audience we were hoping for, but we're not going to stop. So, we have plans for other different type of books coming up. All right, so just keep watching.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Try it. I definitely appreciate the effort, and it's worthwhile.
Great. Well, and if you'd like, you can have a Damien memorial poster for asking us.
I sound like Damien. I
All right, we only have time for a couple more questions and a couple more shout-outs from the audience.
Okay, hello. I have 2 questions. I'll be very brief. I'm a humongous Steve Ditko fan. Why is that important in this room is because of your acquired character, The Question. I wanted to know if there was any plans to bring him back or to have any type of role in the soft reboot of the DC universe. Right, of course. The second thing is, would there be any type of remnants or any type of projects working on the Batman Beyond storyline where we see an older Bruce Wayne and a younger Batman moving forward in the future type of world?
Well, I'm actually the new writer on Batman Beyond.
Oh.
So my first issue hits in August. Continuation of the animated series, continuity actually. So it's a DC Digital first. They announced it last month at WonderCon. So the artist is Tony Silas.
He previously drew Venom for Marvel. Stuff looks great. When my first issue launches, about a year has gone by after Adam Beach's last issue, so all the character dynamics are a bit different. Terry's in college now. Something happened in the missing time, we're not sure what. So that'll be kind of the underlying mystery as we dive into the series. And what else can I say? Sean Murphy on covers, so it looks great.
And as for your other question, we haven't really said anything, but I just would suggest that you might want to look at that screen.
Yeah.
Upper right. Upper right, I believe you might see the answer to your question.
Thank you.
How's it going? I actually had a question. It seems like Static got canceled and Blue Beetle is floating around somewhere in space, and yet the Titans aren't very cohesive, and now Damian's dead. Is there any real plan to kind of expand upon the Titans roster, either by adding sidekicks or any former youth heroes into it? So, Static, Jaime, anyone, so.
Static probably won't be joining the Titans anytime soon, though something could be happening with Static at some point. The Titans are, have a pretty large cast of characters right now in the book, and some things will be happening in the next few months that may change that dynamic greatly. So again, keep watching and see what happens there. All right.
We have time for 3 more questions.
Good morning. Real quick, Earth 2. I was devastated to see that Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman died first issue. Cool, I understand that how everything worked out afterwards. But then I slowly began to see how they are changing things, where they're coming up with a new Batman, Fury is there, so there's a new Wonder Woman type of character. So are there any plans to bring in a new Superman type of character to the Earth 2?
Bob, any Earth 2 spoilers that you want to?
I mean, it's nice to see that at some point that these 3, Trinity, are constant throughout. So I'm thinking
possibly. But Earth 2, again, Earth 2 is a book that we've had plans from the first issue. So the introduction of these characters you mentioned are very purposely put in there, and we have plans going down the road for Earth 2 as well. So you're going to see a lot of things happening on that world that will maybe eventually have ripple effects that impact other worlds as well.
So I'll take that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello again. So I really love the last month of the WTF issues, and I like the die cut Joker face on Death of the Family. But it's something you really can't appreciate when you buy the book digital. Is this sort of like a move to make to help out the comic book shops by sort of giving you an added value to the physical copy, or is this just you have an idea and you run with it and you see how it pans out?
We have ideas, we run with them, we see how they pan out. And, we're okay if you want to cut like a little cardboard piece and put it over your iPad to make your replica of the Joker, overcover. But some techniques we use for storytelling and to get attention to our books work better in physical books than they do in digital. So we kind of tweak what we do in each one to make it the most entertaining experience possible.
Thank you.
Hi. I kind of wanted to go back to Batman series and the Death of the Family. I really felt like it was anticlimactic. Like, I was seriously expecting like maybe Alfred's head like served on like a silver platter, like on both sides, like go to the box. I had like such high expectations for it. Like when people the Joker would like open up the lid and people were like, oh my god, that's sick, that's disgusting. And it's just like, oh my god, this is gonna be super awesome. And then when I finally get to the issue, I'm just like, I was really upset. So, I mean, was that because it was a build up for Damian's death, or was the deal with that? Like,
I think, because it's interesting, because I watched Scott answer questions about who's going to die in Death of the Family, and like, it was never, granted the title is Death of the Family, but we're not going to kill every supporting member of that family, so it's interesting, like I think, I don't know, I may be wrong, but it seemed like there was a perception that like someone was going to die in the series, when that wasn't necessarily what, you know, was promised.
Yeah, the key word was of and not, in it, so it was very thematic element. It was the first thing we came up with was we were sitting there and the title was, we had actually looked over whereas we were in Mike Martin's office and we saw the title and I looked at the old Death of the Family book and I said, hey, why don't we call it, Death of the Family? And it was really always going to be about that aspect of that family being fractured and not, the death per se, so.
It's your fault.
So I'm sorry that you're disappointed in the ending, but I mean, I can't speak for Scott, obviously, but, that was always his intention, was to just fracture the family and not bring a death into it. So I mean, I know I would have been heartbroken to see Alfred die too.
Yeah, I wasn't, like, I was like preparing myself for something like that. And it was kind of like, no.
Have you read Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Would it make you feel better if you had one of our last name? Now she is happy, and we want to thank all of you for taking your time to be here with us this afternoon. Thank the panelists.